And welcome into the Army-Navy postgame report presented by USAA, the 122nd edition of America's Game, going right down to the wire. Here's how it ended: a fourth down stop as Navy prevails. Christian Anderson trying to get the first down, trying to keep the game alive. Stopped by the Navy midshipmen as they beat Army 17-13. What a game from the Navy defense as well. The senior linebacker Diego Fagot out of Fort Lauderdale had a fake punt direct snap to him, picked up a first down. It led to a field goal, and Navy goes on to win it 17-13 as they get a fourth down stop, and the under lives. It goes under the total for a 16th straight meeting. And now Service Academy unders 41-9-1 the last 51. Let's get back out to the site. Joe Musso anchors our coverage from MetLife Stadium.
Back here at MetLife in the wake of Army-Navy. This game looking a bit more like what we expected, gentlemen. That first half was a little pass happy. Teams fell back into their true colors in the second half. Danny, I'll roll the ball out for you here. What a day it was. 17-13 our final. Your emerging thought, your headline coming out of this one is what?
Nothing about this game disappointed. Nothing. From the minute we walked out here and saw the march on and saw the pomp and circumstance, to the entrance of the players, and then to the game itself, to see an upset with Navy coming out on top, like all of it lived up to the billing. For my first experience, knocked it out of the park. I am blown away with the experience.
Dennis, I could see the creative juices flowing. Yeah. You can almost hear the keys being pounded. Your headline is what?
Think about the pregame where we're actually talking about Ken Niumatalolo's job security. At halftime, this game flipped. Navy goes down for the touchdown to take the lead. They outgain Army 148-57 in the second half. At one point, mid-fourth quarter, it was 148-12. And then the fake punt to, we don't know if Diego Fagot was expecting it or not. Didn't clinch the game. In fact, they were going to go for it on fourth down, and then the penalty, and they get the field goal. I don't want to say out of character for Navy, but this is the kind of game that brings out character, and we saw that tonight. Yeah, the specialists had to show up in multiple moments of this game, and it was really interesting to see these teams sort of morph back into form, as Dennis referred to in the second half here, really going back to that run game. And DK, when you look at this game, it really came down to what a senior like Diego Fagot was going to do in the decisive moment. It's almost cliche, it almost writes itself. But the way that that young man executed, not only in that fake punt, whether or not he knew it, but in the way that that defense bowed up after it looked like Army was going to do what they wanted to offensively here on Saturday. How impressed were you by that?
This is that's a great point about character. And I mean, I remember Coach Bowden always telling us, seniors won't let us lose. Diego Fagot, as a four-year starter, would not let Navy lose in his last opportunity in this game. Whether it was taking the fake punt and hurdling a guy, because it wasn't even clean. He had to get the first down, whether it was him making play after play with the tackles that he made. Remember, we were watching him in the get off the snap? Like, that's a veteran move. He was timing the snap. He was getting penetration. And when you're trying to run this triple option attack, which Army was, you get penetration. It throws off timing. It throws off everything. And he was doing it time and time again. What a phenomenal performance. He, easily, is my player of the game in this game.
He gets all the game balls, and I'm sure he would defer it to someone else. You saw so much humility. You saw so much poise in the moment on both sides of this. But we do have to talk about Army as well, Dennis. The offense in the second half looked like it got reserved, not just in the sense that they weren't passing the ball anymore, but in the way that they were rushing and attacking via the rush as well. Did you take any issue with the play calling in the second half?
Well, what did we say at halftime? It looked like they were in control, 13-7. And I remember saying, I think they're just going to center the ball, get a couple of field goals, and walk out of here. And maybe they had that mentality. Navy came to play. They took risk, the fake punt. I thought Ty Lavatai had a great game. He was near his career high rushing, didn't turn the ball over. And Chance Warren, his one carry was that end around or reverse that got him down deep, and was a game-winning play with the 2-yard run by Lavatai.
You mentioned, I thought Navy outcoached Army.
I was just going to say that.
Ken Niumatalolo and the offensive staff, every time there was a big third down or a fourth down conversion, whether it was the fake punt or some sort of misdirection, they called the misdirection exactly when they needed it early in the second half. Remember they ran the little, I thought it might have been a halfback pass, like a reverse pass. Instead, it goes all the way down to the 1, and then they're able to punch it in. Army did not know what hit them, and it was too late at the end. But I thought it was out-coached. I thought Navy out-coached Army.
Totally agree.
Dennis, when you look at this 60 minutes of football, it's so different than what we see on a Saturday, a normal Saturday in the SEC, let's say. You walk away from this one learning what today, feeling what today, because the pageantry of it all, the way that they approach football, it is a throwback. What changed in you today? Because I see a lot of excitement coming out of you.
Today, Navy's 12-0. I mean, they're in that locker room. They ended up 4-8. They're 12-0. They won a playoff game. And I looked up, I think with the change of possession with 6 minutes left, and looked around, and I said, this could be Auburn, Alabama. This could be a national semifinal. It reminded me of the game in Tampa when Clemson won with, 2 seconds to go, and everybody was on their edge of their seats. That's what it was about. The Super Hornets before the game, the Apaches. Had my picture taken with the Army mascot as the clock wound down. What a geek I am. It was special.
But as all of us are college football geeks, right? We all love and are passionate about the sport. And I am guilty of this. When we talk about the greatest rivalries, I default to the Iron Bowl. I default to Ohio State, Michigan, because I had never been to this one. And I always kind of threw this one in there as, oh, yeah, it's top 3. Man, when you see this in person, it all of a sudden has risen up the ranks to something special. And I think that's maybe the most special part about it is the fact that Navy wasn't great this year.
No.
And yet it's still there. Everyone was into the game on bated breath from the 3 hours before kickoff until the last second ticked off.
Yep.
That doesn't happen at all those rivalries. They can get sideways and lopsided. This game is always dramatic. It always delivers.
Truly a special day. I know I learned today that the men that take that field, they play a very basic brand of football, but they are special men, and they play that basic brand of football a very special way.
Oh, it's a fake. It is a fake. Trying to get up to the 35. It's Fago. It's Diego Fago, the up back. And he dives up to the 38-yard line.
What a play by the senior linebacker from Navy, Diego Fago. Not sure he even knew he was getting the football there, but you know what? Didn't matter. He fought for the first down, and Navy fought for the victory as they upset Army 17-13. Navy's not going to a bowl game. This was their playoff game, and what an atmosphere it was for the 122nd playing of America's game at MetLife Stadium. Let's get back out to MetLife Stadium. Welcome in Brad Nessler, who just called his 5th consecutive Army-Navy game. Not used to seeing a whole lot of passing in this rivalry, Brad. How about the 7-7 start and the way it played out?
Yeah, Akeem, you know, we thought it was an air raid offense all of a sudden that Army showed up with today with Christian Anderson going to the air and did it effectively, and he threw it to, 6 different receivers today. His long touchdown run gave them the early lead, but, man, the story of the game, you already talked about Diego Fago and the play of the game, but the defense for Navy in the entire second half, Army was just basically shut down, and so I think you got to get a lot of credit to the Navy defense for the way they played. Brian Newberry's club really came on strong. They didn't allow, very much on first downs, second downs, third downs. It just wasn't a down that Army could find any offense for in the second half.
Diego Fago, 9 tackles and the first down on the fake punt, making a play there for the Navy midshipmen. Brad, what do you appreciate the most about this rivalry, and what does it mean to you to have the opportunity to call a game like this one?
I'll be totally honest with you, and I've told people this before. I get very emotional before the game. First of all, when we come on the air and we've got a 4-minute intro and it's just spectacular the way our team puts that stuff together. So when I get here and I have to just get as far as the invocation and the national anthem, when I get through that, then we're almost playing ball. So I don't know. I'm a pretty emotional guy. I don't have military in my family. I got a lot of friends that maybe have in Vietnam and that type of thing, but I don't know. I have a hard time just getting to the opening kickoff. Once we get there, I'm just calling ball at that time, and it's a different kind of football. Every inch counts. If you can get a couple yards, that's great. But it's like every blade of grass is important between these two teams, and I don't know that it's old-fashioned football. It's just their brand of football. Air Force is somewhat the same, but when these two teams get together, it gets me choked up right to the very end, and it went right to the very end today.
That's the great thing about sports, Brad. I mean, that's what it does. It is the greatest reality television, and that game, that rivalry certainly lives up to the billing each and every year. We appreciate you calling the game for CBS and another outstanding season on CBS of calling college football. We'll look to see you here in the wintertime with college basketball. Brad, great. Appreciate the conversation perspective that you always give us here on CBS Sports HQ. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Akeem. I'm going straight to basketball in Vegas, so you just reminded me I got to go back to work. I just wanted to go home and hang out for a while for the holidays.
Well,
Happy holidays to all you guys.
Yes, sir. Rest up, my friend. Take care. Happy holidays to you as well. Great stuff as always from Brad Nessler joining us post-game here on CBS Sports HQ throughout the season in the SEC. And finally here in the Army-Navy game as Navy pulls off the upset 17-13. And it's interesting because the game goes under the total for a 16th straight meeting, and the under now 41-9-1 in the last 51 meetings between service academies. Get some more perspective. Welcome in two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. B-Mac, I know you appreciated the defense in this Army-Navy game. How about Diego Fagot with the fake punt there? I'm not sure he even knew he was getting the football, but fighting his way for the first down that led to a field goal.
South Florida kid from Fort Lauderdale, to be exact. He understands and knows about this rivalry. His fourth year participating in this ball game. He's the heart and soul of not just their defense, but their entire team. I mean, we saw what he did on the defensive end, you know, being a big-time tackler for their defense, but coming up huge for them on that fake punt. It was the effort that was there for him that led to him being able to convert that fourth down. And that was just basically, you know, the blueprint for Navy the entire ball game, right? Defensively, they had some issues throughout the course of the year, but seeing what they were able to do with the adjustments and how well they played in the second half did not allow 1 point from Army. And remember, Army had the #2 rushing attack in college football. They averaged over 300 yards on the ground every ball game, right? That was their average. They only had 124 yards today. So Navy did a real good job in just being able to neutralize Army's running attack and basically tried to make them one-dimensional. They were very, very successful in doing so.
B-Mac, we also love this game because we tend to take the under in this game. And thank goodness for that Navy defense getting that 4th and 3, getting that stop at the end to get us another under. 16 straight unders between Army and Navy, and now 41-9-1 in the last 51 meetings between service academies. Like, this is a principal play, and look, I love the defense, and this is why I love to ride with the under every time these two teams get together or any time any of the three schools get together.
No question, but let's keep it real, guys. For everyone who took the under, you were nervous. The first quarter, we saw 17 points. We saw 17 points, and it seemed like the offense would have the upper hand on the defenses in this ball game. But we saw a slow down second quarter in the second half, only seeing 10 points basically coming from one team. That made you feel real good about attacking the under. But I, for one, was a bit nervous because I did not expect to see so much success in the red zone, putting points on the scoreboard coming from either offense. So when I saw that 17 points, I came like, oh, man, here we go. But you, like you say every weekend, I'm working with you, the trend is your friend. Mm-hmm. And in this ball game between these two teams, the under has been the most friendly trend you can follow.
Well, I'll tell you what, I doubled down as well. After it was 7-7, I took the live total of under 45.5.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It was just great. I mean, what a game that was, though, right? Like, that was a fun game to watch. Like, last year was 15-0, and this game was awesome.
No question, because you look at how both teams have played this season. Navy, not as much production coming from their team, only having 3 wins before today's win. And looking at what Army was able to do, a very, very successful team, especially on the offensive end. And when rivalries are played, you have to throw records and resumes out of the window. It's all about heart and soul. And that's what we saw in today's matchup. I mean, Navy got beat up a lot this season, especially on the offensive end. They played against a lot of high-ranked defenses. I think out of you look at the top 22 defenses in college football, Navy had the luxury of playing against 6 of those teams. And they struggled. But in today's matchup, you couldn't tell. Even losing R-Line in the first quarter, the first play that he was in the ball game, he's more of an athletic, explosive play at the quarterback position. They lost him and didn't miss a beat. They gathered the troops and came up with some adjustments and was able to come up with a huge upsetting win against Army.
BMAC breaking it down for us here on CBS Sports HQ. Much more with Bryant McFadden throughout the night here on HQ as Navy reigns supreme in the Navy-Army game for the 122nd time. They scored 10 points in the second half, giving up 0. Zippy. Also, only allowing 57 total yards in the second half to Army. They shut the door at the end, get a huge fourth down stop to clinch the victory 17-13 at MetLife Stadium.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.